Hello again, welcome back to Blackpool for more action from the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. It's the semi-final stage of the men's event. One terrific match gone and one we're really looking forward to coming up this time. So to confirm what happened last time, this is it. The defending champion Phil Harrison went out 10-8 to Mick Hill in a real tense match, but it's Mick Hill who's safely through to the final. But who will he be facing? Gareth Potts again, or is it going to be Craig Waddingham? With me here in the studio is Keith Brewer to discuss what promises to be, at least on the face of it, a very interesting clash.
Yes, it's the old David and Goliath syndrome, isn't it, this one? And there's a lot of excited fans out here waiting for this match. A lot of anticipation. We think we're going to have a quick-fire game here.
And the great thing is, I mean, Craig is a totally unknown quantity, isn't he?
It sure is, yes. His first year on the circuit, and I'm sure he's going to go into the match with the same attitude that he did against Jason.
Let's have a look and see how they progress to this stage of the competition, and this is what they've done. As far as Gareth are concerned, of course, a 3-times former winner here, but he's seeded number 2 in this event, and he's been in pretty good form, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a good season so far, actually. He's won a couple of pro events, he's won a tour, and he's looking very sharp here as well.
And as far as Craig is concerned, well, he is virtually unknown. He was saying that himself. He comes from Scunthorpe. He's been playing Q Sport since he was about 3 or 4 years of age. He says he's just totally privileged to be here playing in this match. He's thrilled to beat Jason, of course, and he played brilliantly in that, didn't he?
Very impressive, I thought, in his last match. And if he goes in, stays relaxed, embraces the tournament like he is doing, I'm sure he'll do okay.
But you feel that probably his run is going to come to an end here. You think Gareth will be too good for him?
I don't think you can really bet against a 3-times world champion, but we fought that in the last round and look what happened.
And it should be open, entertaining stuff. It won't be too much tactical play.
And both players like to get on with the game, so I'm sure we're going to be in for a quick fire match.
That's our cue to get on with it. Let's go straight to the action and join our team led by David Hendon.
Please welcome out the players, Craig Waddingham and Gareth Potts.
Could be for this World Championship. The qualifier has already been the star of the tournament. Can he reach the final? Well, to do so, he's going to have to beat a 3-times champion, Gareth Potts. Great atmosphere inside this Imperial Hotel in Blackpool, and it is Waddingham, 22 years of age. There's the cheer. It's Waddingham to break in frame 1. 10 required for a place in the final. And he could cut the tension with a knife here. Oh, not the best of starts. He's gone in off from the break. Big night, isn't it, for him, Sean?
Yeah, biggest night of his life to date. As you say, a bit unlucky there. He's tried to just keep the cue ball in the middle of the table, and that front ball's come off and followed the cue ball and nudged it into the middle pocket. Not the greatest of splits, though, either, so it may not have done too much damage here, Lee.
No, you won't see Gareth rushing into this match. He'll be trying to make sure he takes the first frame and keeps Craig under pressure. But what you can say for Craig so far, in the last 16 he beat a world champion in Carl Morris. Then he's gone through a 2-time world champion, Jason Twist. So he's going for the 3-time one this time.
Yeah, it would be certainly some hat-trick were he to pull it off. As you say, the tension out there and the atmosphere, it's sort of reminiscent. Now you've got the two partisan type sets of supporters. Gareth Potts' supporters up from Stoke-on-Trent. The lads have come over from Grimsby, between Grimsby and Scunthorpe. They've made that long trip. It's sort of reminiscent of the days of when the Australians played in the TV stages, and the Aussies always gave it a, they always supported the man, a big crowd.
Well, it just adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it, and the occasion. And yeah, Waddingham has brought around 30-40 people with him to cheer him on, as you say, Sean, the biggest night of his life.
Well, normally Gareth does have a big following here, David, but unfortunately most of the lads are working, haven't been able to come, and I think they're all hoping he gets through to the final. I think there's only 3 or 4 lads who managed to come.
30 seconds.
And I guess, Lee, the pressure's on Gareth Potts here because he is the favourite. He's the established player, 3-times champion, and he won't know much about his opponent, will he? Well,
he was asking me in the room earlier. He said, will this guy play a little bit too open, will he be a bit reckless? I said, well, from what I've seen of him, he looks quite controlled, and it certainly won't be his potting that lets him down.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he was fearless against Jason Twist. He went 7-2 up. He was 8-7 down, and I think everyone thought the experienced man was going to come through, but not so. Waddingham took the last 2.
Yeah, in the last frame, it was one of the best frames of pool I've seen for a long time. Both players firing tactical shots at each other and aggressive safeties, and you know, it was a really good frame of pool.
Yeah, I think that was a feature of that match all the way through. Even when there was safety, it was positive safety play, Lee, rather than a lot of some of the negative stuff that we've seen from other players.
That's right. I mean, as far as I know, Craig hasn't got much of a background in 8-ball pool. He's come from a snooker background, and I mean, I have played him in the first season on the tour, and he's a hell of a good player. You don't get to World semi-finals if you're not a good player.
No, and in a way he's got nothing to lose because the pressure's on. As I say, Gareth Potts, he would be expected to come through. Waddingham can enjoy it. He'll enjoy it more, though, of course, if he wins.
30 seconds.
Super shot there from Craig Waddingham. Certainly none of those any early nerves showing there.
Yeah, but he's got a tricky table ahead of him. Not an easy finish. He's going to have to develop some of his yellow balls.
We heard the roar. I think we're going to hear the roar every time he pots a ball in this match from his supporters. They certainly made a lot of noise in the quarter-final, and there's a lot more come to watch this semi-final.
Yeah, when you're on the receiving end of that, it's not nice, so you need to try and keep the crowd quiet. Well, he's opened his yellow ball, but he certainly hasn't left Gareth safe. He has got a chance to play the nearest red, where the cue ball looks very close to. Into the side. Probably play the red onto the red. So he has got a window of opportunity here.
30 seconds.
He's just looking if he was to go into that cluster of balls, how they would react.
Come on.
Red stayed up, incredibly.
Yeah, probably a good job it did, because I don't think Gareth was left with any shot. You can see the cue ball is virtually touching the red ball. But this is an opportunity now for Craig to take the first frame.
I wonder how the old nerves are going to hold up in the early stages. You can understand it if he's excited. This is what he's been dreaming of. He's won 10 matches already in this tournament.
Yeah, and if this is his first season, he's got a big future ahead of him.
Yeah, because it would have been quite easy for him to have come to the quarter-finals, as we've seen with one or two other players that get through to this stage, and then they freeze on the big stage, and they actually disappear. You know, you don't hear of them again. Like I said, I remember the young Irish lad Steve Horan. No, he's not involved with their team anymore, and seems to have disappeared off the scene. Aaron Roberts got through a couple of years ago, doesn't seem to play anymore, and not saying that would have happened with Craig, but potentially that can happen. You know, it knocks the confidence right back. But the performance he put in against Jason Twist in that semi-final, in that quarter-final, was just incredible.
Yeah, he seems to have a little bit about him, this guy does. Very composed around the table. Certainly knows how to take a finish out.
Tell you what, Lee, it'll certainly be a name that people will be looking for in the draw now on the IPA tour.
Yeah, and when I drew him first round, I mean, I knew who he was. A friend of mine actually drew him in a 3-man team on the tour when he came on as an amateur just for one event. And he actually said to me, he says, I'm the Scunthorpe #1. And normally when people say that to you, they're not very good, but as you can see, he's a hell of a good player.
Yes, it's not just Scunthorpe that needs to be worried about Craig Waddingham. I think that's something we can say with some certainty.
He's bidding to be world #1. He's only 2 matches away.
And what we noticed in the quarter-final, he didn't start rushing when the pressure got on. He took his time. He was very mature in his approach.
I actually gave him a little tip there, but got to a position where I think he got back to 7-all. And I said, you've seen a lot of players disappear. Just disappear out and take a little break there, Craig. He said, oh, I said, I just felt, just sit in my chair, I was all right. I said, but I don't know whether he's taking that tip on board. It'd be interesting to see later in the match if it does get close, something like 7-8 each, and he's got back into it, whether he just decides to take that couple of minutes outside. As a little comfort break and just a little bit of just to sort of ease the tension a little bit.
While he's taking a big shot on here, he's taking the yellow ball long into the top pocket. That was a tough shot. Frame winner, but it looks like it's going to be a frame loser.
Time out.
Gareth's just asked for the rest here. So timeout called. So even though you get 60 seconds, it is legitimate to ask for a timeout for things like the referee retrieving the rest.
Gareth Potts the only player to win this title 3 times, and indeed the only player to defend it successfully. So he's got bags of experience and bags of confidence.
And he's used to winning major titles, where this young man is at the start of his pool career.
Well, he did have his chance in this first frame. Did Craig Waddingham miss that tricky yellow to the corner? Gareth Potts has punished him, and he leads the semi-final by 1-0. So Gareth Potts knows he's got a match on his hands. He's just lost the 3rd frame. This is frame 4.
Yellow's flown down the table there into that corner pocket. Almost certainly going to be taking reds here, though.
Red ball's nominated.
Yeah, he's nominated the reds. A good split. He'll be opening the 2 reds. The bottom right-hand corner pass into the pocket. Certainly looks like they do. He's just checking. Must be very close to being touching ball. I'm just worried about flicking the red nearest to the yellow. Yeah, he's not settled down, which is surprising me because he's won the first 2 frames and the mistakes are coming now.
Yeah, we were talking only a few minutes ago how supremely good he looked in complete control. All of a sudden he's just looking a little bit edgy, as you say, like a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean, it is an open table. You see that Gareth nominated the reds, but he didn't pot one. So they're just going to have a tip-tap in the corner. So first opportunity, one of these 2 players will be trying to pot a red ball. So it's all about trying to keep the cue ball hidden. When he plays these shots, he must hit a cushion. Looks like he thinks that the red will pass underneath.
Great shot, Wally. Great shot.
Very good pot.
Yeah, super shot there, but not quite sure. He's left himself the next pot.
Well, if he can't, he'll probably just have to roll up behind the red, but he would hope that he could cut the other red, and it looks like he's playing it, so he believes it passes.
That's great.
It does. What a great shot that is.
Well, The only problem I can see in this frame is the 8 and the yellow ball in the middle of the table. And he's just checking now, see where he can attack it. It looks like it goes into the centre, so an opportunity to tie the match up at 2 frames all.
This is the sort of confidence he was showing in that last 16 match with Carl Morris, former world champion. You know, when he got an opportunity, he took it. You know, he went for the finish. I think near the end of the match, he went from 6-3 up to a 6-5. He'd gone for a couple of finishes and just not quite got over the line. But didn't knock his confidence at all, carried on.
Yeah, I mean, if he takes this finish out, I think his nerves will settle down. And I think he's just working his way into the match. This has not been the easiest finish that he'll take out in the tournament, but it'll be one of the most important ones.
Oh, the way he played against Jason Twist, he took the game to him. He showed a real lack of fear the way he played, and he's starting to show the same sort of characteristics here. And of course that piles all the pressure on his opponent then.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a key shot to get from his last red to the 8 ball. He's probably going to take the 2 reds out on the left hand side of the table first.
30 seconds.
So it's 2 key positional shots coming up. We'd like to get the cue ball as far over to the right hand side as possible so he can just draw the cue ball back off his last red for the 8 ball into the centre pocket. You can see where he wants to put it. I think he's probably going to end up with a tricky 8 ball here, because he's going to be playing from distance on his last red. This is a tough positional shot because the cue ball is going to be coming away from the cushion. Well, it's looking like he's going to go into the 2 balls, which, should he miss a cannon, he'll have no shot at all. Now this is a massive shot in the frame.
"30 seconds.
He's just got a nudge. Oh, now how close has he finished to that black?
Well, he needs it not to be touching.
I think the referee just got in there, had a quick look.
If it's not touching, he can pot it. He can just jack his cue up in the air and throw it into the pocket.
Yeah, we've not heard the call, so it mustn't be touching.
And it's not, as you can see. No, I think he was too close. I think he had to jack up and sort of like force it in. He just got thrown wide. It's always a danger when you run into balls. I know it was a tough positional shot. The good news is he has bumped a yellow to the side cushion. The bad news will probably be behind it next shot.
30 seconds.
Needs to be careful with this shot, and he's not been. It's a terrible shot.
Well, I was just going to say, he's just trying to bring the yellow out to block the double across the table, but he's actually brought it too far, as you say, Lee, and left him shot on the black.
It's not settled at the moment, Gareth. Well, it's not an easy 8 ball, but it's one he shouldn't have been seeing. So, another opportunity.
Well, they shout get in, but it's not in.
Yeah, you can see straight away he'd overcut it. So it's turned into a bit of a nervy frame now. Gareth's going to have to play another safety, I think. But this time he needs to play a better one.
I don't know, Lee. I might just think he might have a go at these.
Oh, I'm just not sure where the... I mean, the outside yellow will go and he can take down to the top and run the cue ball forward.
30 seconds.
But he's made a couple of mistakes, so I think he'll be playing safe. He's had a kick. He's left to the straight black.
Come on, Craig. Don't want it, son. Come on.
And you heard his fan say he doesn't want it. So I can assure you he does, but he's let it off.
Well, he does want it, but he's not got this frame. And the Waddingham roar is heard again here in Blackpool. It's 2 frames all.
Gareth Potts to break, leading 3 frames to 2.
Gareth Potts then with a 3-2 lead here in Blackpool in this semi-final. This is frame 6.
Oh, that is an absolutely thunderous break from Gareth Potts. I think he's actually potted 5 balls there.
Red balls
2 reds and 3 yellows. No, so it's 2 reds, 2 yellows. He's potted, you see the replay. 1, 2, 3, 4 balls disappearing.
Good pot down the rail there. That should be the tough ball of the frame dealt with. Just showing you where you'd like the cue ball to land. Pinch a bit of the pocket.
Just left himself with a nice little angle here. Just ready to the middle, stun back. Got this in, black left centre. Re-establishes a 2-frame lead.
It's amazing, isn't it? He was rocking and all of a sudden, a few minutes later, he's back in charge again. Crisis, what crisis? Gareth Potts, 2 frames clear once again, he leads 4-2.
Welcome back to Blackpool for the second men's semi-final in this Foster's World 8-Ball Pool event. Keith Brewer with me enjoying the action here. This is a very interesting match. For young Craig, though, it looks as if reality is about to kick in. He's trailing and it looks as if he's probably going to lose.
Well, you've got to give credit to Gareth, really, because he's from 2-all. He really has picked the game up, hasn't he? The first 4 frames could have gone either way, to be fair.
Yeah.
But since then, you know, Gareth has really kicked in, found another gear, showing the pedigree that was a class player.
Well, we'll see what happens now. We're going to return to the action and see if Craig can do any better as we rejoin the action.
Craig to break, trailing 4 frames to 2. Time running.
Frame 7, Craig Waddingham finds himself 2 behind again, trailing 4-2.
Yes, Craig. Come on, Craig.
Ball's potted.
Looks to have been a little bit unlucky there on the break off. You see that cue ball stuck to the yellow.
Yeah, and he's potted a red ball, so should he choose yellows, he needs to pot one to be on that suit.
Just wonder if that yellow goes past the black
Well,
into the middle pocket.
it certainly goes into the top pocket.
Dominated.
Whether he's fancying taking the long one into the top pocket, I'm not sure.
30
See
seconds.
that yellow doesn't go into.
Open table.
Just elected to play the safety. Leaves the open table.
While he's left Gareth with a chance, that's a terrible safety shot. He can now go for the reds and take a red into the right centre. A little bit careless. Good pot.
Red ball's in play.
Positional play, not bad either.
Yeah, say just a few minutes ago we seemed to think there was a little bit of a wobble going on with the Potts game.
Well, there was a wobble, but he's managed to steady the ship and he's back in control again.
Yeah. It's almost like he took a time out, if you like, for a couple of frames. And normal service has now been resumed.
.30 seconds.
Whacked his feet a little bit there, Lee, as well. But, I think he's okay here.
Yeah, he paid a good pace, so you know you can catch the rail on the way in.
This is a feature of Gareth's game. These long pots and getting the position from them, something he's always been very, very good at.
Yeah, long pots for pots.
Or maybe losing those couple of frames in some sort of way might do him a favour. It's put a bit of fire in his belly. It's made him refocus. He's certainly starting to play now like a 3 times champion and like a big favourite, which is what he is for this match, and he's just gone bigger favourite because he now leads by 3 for the first time. It's 5-2.
Tenth frame. Gareth Potts to break. Leading 7 frames to 2.
So Gareth Potts then needs 3 more frames to reach the World Championship final. Let's see if he can indeed close out victory. This is frame 10.
Well, unlucky there, Gareth Potts. A
Open
couple of
table.
balls threatened pockets, but they've stayed out. And, exactly what Craig Waddingham needed. Losing those last 5 frames. 2 frames all, and Gareth Potts looked to be under a little bit of pressure. But all of a sudden brought his A game back to the table to reel off those 5 frames.
Just
Yellow balls in play.
made it into the pockets.
He's just looking here, Craig. He needs to get yellow into that bottom left-hand corner pocket and remove the red. At the same time, he's just looking to see if he's got the angle for that.
Yeah, that's a dangerous shot. I mean, I don't think he's the sort of person like we saw in the previous semi-final where Phil would just put one over the pocket. I think Craig just likes to have a go at the finish.
Yeah. The thing is, actually, he hasn't got to do it this time. Hasn't quite got the angle. He's got this yellow that he's going to go for now, and just give him a better position. Yeah. And it's pretty straight this now. So he just plays this onto the knuckle, that top left-hand corner pocket.
I just thought if he was going to play that one, Sean, it'd be easier off the lower yellow to play it.
I think that's what he's doing. Well, when you were talking about when the overhead shot, Lee, you talked about the lower yellow.
No, just I'm thinking if he gets his cue ball lower down and plays it from the other angle, it's an easy shot. Playing it from that side, he's got to hit it half ball, and he's stunning the shot when he plays it anyway. So I just don't think he's really thought about that. It's easy to roll the ball and off the side of it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, perhaps just a little bit of that inexperience showing now. Those doubts might start to creep in. Might just start me thinking about, well, I've had a good run in this event.
30 seconds.
Come all the way through those matches. And unfortunately, I've come up against a 3-time world champion.
But if he does lose, at least he'll have what most of the qualifiers, of course, don't have, which is tapes of the matches he's played here on television. He can study them and just work out where he went wrong and what he needs to do to improve in the future.
So it looked like it Just a little bit wide there at one point, Lee.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a nap that turned it in, but I think we saw before when Gareth played a plant into that pocket, it just turns over to the right-hand side. Just got to be careful. I don't think he can pot any balls when he plays the two top ones. So he's just looking where the cue ball will be left when he develops the two reds. So he's just bumped him into play and left a tough yellow into the bottom right hand pocket. That's the only pot I can see for Craig.
This young man full of confidence could quite easily knock this in. And just listen to the crowd. You knew straight away you were going to get reaction. Great effort there from Craig Waddingham.
Yeah, and he's got a yellow on the left-hand side rail. He just needs to work out how he's going to take that one out, because the black is on the opposite side rail. So he doesn't want to leave it till last. It's a little bit straighter on this yellow than he would have liked. I think he can still punch it over.
Yeah, nice shot, just avoided the red.
He would have liked a bit more angle than he's got there, Sean. This cue ball's going to be coming back towards the yellow in the middle of the table. Should still be able to get the cue ball out. I don't think it goes in the top right pocket, so he might have to punch it. You can see Gareth having a quick look, see what angle he's got.
And it's just all about avoiding those reds in the balk area in this next shot.
Well, if he doesn't fancy that, he can always draw the cue ball back and take a double on the 8 ball as well. That's another option. I think it's probably the best option. So I'd be taking the yellow into the top left, drawing the cue ball back and just playing a double on the 8 ball. So one big double. To get another frame on the board.
Well, he's still playing the same way, isn't he? He's still going for his shots. This is to get one back. Oh, it's in. It's in. And there's the roar from the supporters. Craig Waddingham takes the 10th frame. He trails 7-3. Well, just for a moment it looked like that had stayed out, but it did go in. And you can see the delight on his supporters' faces.
Yeah, I think one or two of them thought it was wide as well, even though they're sat looking at it going across the table. Great performance there.
Well, Gareth asked him the question. He left him on the bottom cushion, broke his 2 reds out, and said, "Are you any good?" And his answer was, "Yes, I'm very good, thank you."
Eleventh frame. Craig to break. Trailing 7 frames to 3. Time running.
Craig Waddingham 7-3 down in the semi-final. This is frame 11.
Void break.
Oh, unfortunately the black ball's disappeared. Great break off there. Plotted a red and a yellow, but the black's disappeared as well.
Yeah, I'm not a great lover of the re-rack. I think the black should go back on the spot. I think he should have one chance at the break, because next time he could break and not make a ball, and that good break's been worth nothing.
Yeah, the black ball down, there's no penalty, but there's no gain either. It's just the same player to restart the frame.
Forward break. Break to restart the frame, no penalty. Time
Craig Waddingham then to get frame 11 underway.
Yes, lad. That's the way, lad.
Ball's potted.
Oh, he's made the balls second time round again. Black stayed on the green bays this time.
Well, I'm not sure he can get through to a yellow ball if that's the suit he prefers.
I think he's possibly got one to cut back into the
Yellow ball's in play.
bottom left-hand corner pocket. You see there.
He can get through to the one on the lowest one on the right-hand side. That's a very good shot.
Just a few minutes ago we were talking about, you know, maybe this could be the end for Craig Waddingham, but 7-3, 7-4 if he takes this frame on the break, and all of a sudden it's not looking too bad.
Yeah, it's a long way back though. He's still, until you start getting to 7-5, 7-6, you still believe that it'll be a little bit too much of a comeback for him. But never say never. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see him to take the yellow into the top right-hand pocket, the cue action this guy plays with. He's bridging awkwardly on this one. That's a very good shot.
Well, you can only give him credit for the composure he's shown throughout this tournament. He's won 10 matches to get to the semi-finals. He won 9-8 against Jason Twist on his TV debut in the quarter-finals. Stood up to the pressure there. Is he mounting some sort of comeback here?
Yes, lad. Come on, lad.
This would be for 2 frames in a row.
Now!
Maybe the fairy tale isn't over yet. Craig Waddingham takes frame 11. He now trails 7-4.
Twelfth frame. Gareth Potts to break, leading 7 frames to 4. Time running.
Gareth Potts was leading 7-2. He's now leading 7-4.
Off the table.
Dry break from Potts, and again the noise level goes up.
Red ball's in play.
Yeah, and this is a really tricky finish. One that he'll be going for. But you can see there's a yellow on the left-hand side rail. A little cluster of balls in the middle where the 8 ball is.
Tricky finish, doesn't seem to affect this young man. Difficult finish, he just knocks them in. The impossible finishes he makes look easy.
It's just that the 8 ball doesn't go, and the ball that he's going to be taking next, if he takes the one nearest the 8 ball, that's the one that you'd use to split the 3 balls in the middle of the table. So he might take the one down the cushion, or he's trying to screw into them now. Needs a disturbance. That's a very good shot.
Just one awkward ball he's got here is the one that's up the table. So obviously he's going to have to get up there and then get positioned back down the table.
Oh, that's the one you're on about, Sean, but there's another one on the right-hand side, so the one at the where Craig is now. It's a tough finish, this one.
.30
Ideally, he would like to take the lower one and cannon the other one out. Well, I decided to go up the table. Needs to travel. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, great shot there from Craig Waddingham.
Well, he's negotiated all the problems so far, and he's done a very good job. You can see when he wants to leave the cue ball for the 8 ball. A few shots away. He actually looks like he's just travelled a little bit too far on the one down the rail, so whether he can just still maintain the right angle.
30 seconds.
Certainly has. So good positional shot required now. Key to the frame.
Just checking once again, just visualising in his mind where he wants to be leaving that cue ball after this shot.
Yeah, he's going to be leaving distance, which will make the pot very difficult. He'd like to get the cue ball as far up the table as possible and not behind the yellow. That's just a little bit of an experience of the TV table.
I think he's in a lot of trouble here now.
Total snooker.
So, even if he makes contact with the red this time.
Yeah, that's just pure inexperience on this table. Thought he could spin it round where the cue ball just skids off the cushion. Gareth will be relieved to see that he's going to come back to the table again. A big chance of getting 2 shots as well.
Which he's got.
Foul.
2 visits, Gareth Potts.
2 visits. Yellow ball's in play.
Just one slightly awkward yellow above the middle right-hand pocket. And just when it looked that Craig Waddingham was getting a foothold back in this match, it's been snatched from beneath him.
He's been pretty dependable in the match in this sort of situation, Gareth Potts.
Yeah, that was a feature of his quarter-final match, that when he needed to make it, well, he's missed that, but he's got the luxury of the second visit, but when he's needed to take out a good finish, he's done it.
Yeah, you can see that Craig's got the red on the left-hand side rail as well, so you know, you expect Gareth to get the finish, but he wouldn't have an easy shot if he did. I mean, if that red was over the pocket, there'd be a bit of pressure on this finish, but there's no real pressure where that red is. Ideally, would like the cue ball to travel a bit further to the right-hand side of the table, but should be okay. Slightly overrun it, but he's still fine.
Yeah, wanted to be pretty much straight on this yellow, so just leaving a slightly longer shot than he would have done, but shouldn't be any great difficulty here now. As Potts looks to extend his lead once again and move one frame closer to a place in the final.
He needed this as well, because the momentum was with Waddingham, all the noise with Waddingham as well, but the frame has gone to Gareth Potts, and he now leads by 8 frames to 4. And that means he needs 2 more. He will take on Mick Hill in the final. Worth pointing out at this stage that he did beat Mick Hill in the 2007 final, 11-5. But we should wait until we start predicting what's going to happen, until he gets through. 8-4, obviously looking very strong, And he has played well overall. There was a little wobble early on, wasn't there? But since then, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, in frames 3 and 4, he looked a little bit unsettled, but I think we can give him those 2 frames for the rest of the performance he's put on tonight.
And he'll be determined, I'm sure, now to close this out. The last thing he wants is a close finish. He wants to reserve some energy for the final, because he's going to need it against Mick Hill.
Frame. Craig to break. Trailing 8 frames to 4.
Craig Waddingham to break in frame 13. 8-4 down in this race to 10.
All potted.
One thing that's been a feature of this match, and his performance throughout the tournament, that thunderous break, it certainly works for him. We've seen
Yellow balls
other
nominated.
people adopting different break styles and with no success. He just gets down and smashes the balls.
Yellow balls in play.
Yeah, he hasn't really had many easy finishes. He's always having to pull out big finishes, which you don't want to keep having to pull out big finishes. He might be able to play the one he's nearest to down the cushion, or one to the right centre, but the last one he'd want to be taking is a long one in the top pocket near where Gareth's sitting.
30 seconds.
It's a good pot as he tied the yellow up. I think it's just okay.
Yeah, it's okay. That is Lee. It still goes bottom right, I'm sure. You see it being on the outside there. As you say, certainly not an easy finish, this.
No, we're certainly not one you'd wanted to 8-4 in arrears. Well, he can still get through to it, but can he get his cue ball out into the open play? Probably may have to come off the bottom cushion and bring the cue ball into play by flicking the yellow in. I don't think there's any great value of screwing it straight back because the red's in the way. So he did, just flicked off the cushion first. Good shot.
Key to this frame is going to be position off that yellow up into the top left hand corner to the black.
Well, he looks perfect. I think you take the one on the bottom left and draw the cue ball back. Roll the one down the cushion. Let's just show you what he wants a white ball. Should be in prime position for the one on the right hand side. This is the last yellow ball. That's roughly what he put his cue tip before. That's an ideal place where he needs the cue ball to be. I'll just punch this one a little bit and get the cue ball out. It's a good shot.
He's certainly given a good account of himself here, Craig. It's certainly been quite easy. He's seen himself 7-2 down. He's sort of like, not quite throw the towel in, but think, well, it's all over for this year. But fought his way back a little bit and...
Yeah, what he's looking at here shows whether he can just draw the cue ball back without going into the 8. He may have to run into the 8 ball. He would like to take both balls in the same pocket. Now he's took the risk, and it's not paid off again.
Desperately unlucky there. It's just rolled about probably an inch, 2 inches further.
It's always a danger when you run into balls. You can't guarantee that they're going to come good.
I just wonder, we look on the overhead there. Could he flick this really thin?
No,
he's just looking there, coming across the table.
I think he probably should come off the bottom cushion and try and get it in that way. Or was he looking at the double?
30 seconds.
Trying to double it off the knuckle. I think it'd be easier to come off the top cushion, try and sneak it back in the same bag, similar to a shot we saw McKill do against Phil Harrison. I just think it's a mad shot to try and cross double this one. He played the cross double, but the shot was never there.
No, because he was actually hitting the knuckle of the pocket. You know, he wasn't hitting the flat part of the cushion. He was always going to come off at the wrong angle.
Well, it's just a lot easier to come off the top cushion and try and clip it back into that middle pocket. So the momentum he's had has all run away from him. And we've seen Gareth in this position quite a few times. How many times has Craig cleared his balls off the table? And Gareth's just got the easy work to do.
Yeah, it's happened a lot, hasn't it, in the match? And of course, if he wins this, he'll be just one frame from victory.
Just took a little bit of a chance there. He had to run into the other red as he potted that one to the bottom right, but he's running into it full face, so it's just come back off the rail.
Yeah, I'll be pleased that ball has come back to there, because he wasn't in good position on the other three. So he was a little bit fortunate to land on that one. It's a bit short again. So you have to take one to the top right hand corner, I think.
Just looking a little bit edgy on this finish, Gareth.
Oh, he's had a kick again.
Had a kick and he's gone in. Well, it's still gone in. Incredible. As soon as he's made contact, you've seen he's come up, the cue's gone in the air. He's been very fortunate. It's still gone in the pocket, and he's still finished with position.
Well, I don't think he feels like he's fortunate, because if he doesn't have the kick, he pots it clean.
Well, at least it went in, I suppose. And he's still going, just about.
Just had a look up at the clock there. Yeah, nice recovery there from Gareth Potts. Just took the time to settle himself as the cue ball was cleaned. And collect his thoughts.
And this has been a regular feature of this match. Waddingham has come very close several times to winning frames. Just fell a ball or two short. Gareth Potts has cleared up pretty ruthlessly, as you would expect. And he's done it again, and he's now one frame from victory, one frame from a place in the final. He leads by 9 frames to 4.
14th frame. Gareth Potts to break.
Gareth Potts then to break in frame 14. He leads 9-4, one more.
Time
he's in the final.
Well, just what Gareth Potts wanted there in this frame. He's made the ball off the break. Perhaps just been a little bit unlucky. See there, red disappears in the bottom. Bottom middle pocket. Another one follows it. It's gone reds, but this, we see there, the left-hand side, there was a red and a yellow stuck together. So a little bit of work to be done here before Gareth Potts can retire to the bar and look forward to a place in the final. So opted for the just to play the tactical shot there, Lee.
Yeah, he just used a little bit of experience there. He's decided to promote the red into open play. He's got Craig locked up behind his own ball. Doesn't want to give Craig any opportunities that he doesn't create for himself. All we can do is just touch him back in. So we've got a yellow and a red locked together at the bottom left hand corner. That's a problem which will need to be solved. He solved the one at the top. And he's just showing you where he's probably going to leave the cue ball for Craig. Yeah, you didn't play to pot that, just wanted it over the pocket. He has left Craig a slight chance, so one big double could open the frame up.
Yeah, we saw that was a feature of 2 or 3 frames ago that he left him a long pot and said, "Well, go on if you think you can knock that in, go ahead," and he did and took the frame. So a lot more difficult situation though.
That was a good effort though. He's tried to develop both balls, promote the other one down the table over the pocket, but he's left a gap. See, there is a gap underneath the yellow ball where you could slide the red on the bottom cushion along. So Gary's just looking at what angle he's got to unlock those 2 balls at the left hand side, the red and the yellow.
30 seconds.
So this is his first opportunity to make his appearance in another World Final.
As he attempts to, just a word, Sean, on Craig Waddingham, and what a story it's been, what a performance to get this far from the qualifiers.
Well, it's just fantastic. I think it's fantastic for the game because, like you say, you talk to a lot of the tour players, the lower ranked ones. So, have you entered the quali? Oh no, I said, you know, the likes of Rona McCarthy are in that, and several of the, you know, the big names who haven't qualified already for the championship. So they're not bothering. But this has got to be a breath of fresh air for the tour and for tour players to think, well, hang on, that guy did it last year. Why can't I do it? And I think there'll be a lot more interest going forward, and maybe not just for tour qualifiers, but when we have qualifiers around the country, as happened this year, different clubs where anybody basically can enter the qualifier. People watching home think, well, hang on, that young lad did it last year. Why can't it be me in 2011? Lovely shot there from Gareth Potts as well, Lee. Developing that red over the pocket.
He was trying to take the finish in that visit, but ran out of position and played a good containing safety. Promoted the red over the pocket. And he's got Craig in all sorts of trouble here. He's tried a lot of clever shot there. He's tried to put the yellow over the pocket and drop the cue ball in the gap between the yellow and the black. But he's happy. He's forcing Gareth to probably play the one over the top right.
I just wonder if there's any merit in Gareth going across the table and try to develop that red and yellow that are stuck together. You can go to the right hand rail, bottom rail as we look there, come down, hit the red with enough force that the yellow goes to the rail and frees it up.
He's just trying to play sensible though. He knows he's got his opponent on the right and doesn't want to give him an easy chance to get a frame on the board and keep this match going.
It's one of the few tactical shots we've seen in this semi-final. It's been open, aggressive pool of the highest standard in this Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships.
I mean, the only thing that he has done by getting the yellow so close to the red, he's now blocked his own ball. So it could give Craig a chance to solve a few problems at the bottom end of the table. Possibly push the 8-ball over towards his pocket on the right hand side. Then develop the other ones. See if we get the 8-ball over to the right, which is what he's just played. Very good shot.
Second visit.
He could possibly try to squeeze the yellow and move the red out, freeing the pocket up, and all of a sudden he's turned the frame around. It's a good shot.
Excellent shot. It's opened up the frame. And you can just look to develop that yellow if need be at the top of the table now, because that black's over that side of the table, pretty much tucked up.
Well, the shot he had a quick look at. I don't know if he's going to play it. He could try and pot the one in the left centre and try and flip the other yellow out. It's a little bit dangerous.
30 seconds.
Certainly when you're match point down. I think he's certainly trying to play a double on it, so I want the cue ball up to the top cushion and cross double the yellow over to the other pocket.
As you say, just trying to leave the cue ball on that top rail.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Just needs to avoid the double kiss, and he's got a chance. I think he would
wonder
like.
if he's a little bit straight on it, Lee.
Yeah, he would like the white to be right on the bottom cushion. Nice, forcing Gareth to pot his ball over the pocket. Whether he will do that or he'll play out the snooker, I'm not sure. He's looking where he can leave the cue ball. I think he is going to attack, play the one over the pocket and try and get the cue ball where he's just pointed. You can see the two reds will go into the bottom left hand corner. Then he's just got the problem of the 8 ball.
30 seconds.
By the way he's queuing, it looks like he's just going to leave it over the pocket. I'm not sure if he is going to attack now. Well,
He's okay there. He's got position. It's just a question of, as you say, it's all going to be about the position on the 8 ball.
or can he clip the red into the left corner and flick the 8 ball out? Can you just nudge it up a little bit? Hold the cue ball roughly where the 8 ball is, it could be all over. Oh, he wasn't going to take that risk, he's just saying to himself, well, I'll guarantee myself some sort of shot on the 8 ball.
Yeah, just try and leave it over on that right hand side rail just above the yellow in the jaws of the pocket with the black in the top left. Just the pot, and you see, hand goes up.
Yeah, he concentrated so much on the position for the 8 ball, he forgot about the red ball.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just a little bit of carelessness there, focused on getting on that 8 ball to win the match. Didn't pot the red.
Yeah, that wasn't the best of shots by Craig there. He should have had the cue ball further up the table. He's now bridging over the red. And that's a good recovery shot.
Yeah, he's been thrown a lifeline here by the 3-time former world champion Gareth Potts. Those noise level will just go up a notch again here. He knocks this black in. Certain to do.
Well, big mistake from Gareth Potts. Craig Waddingham takes the frame and he keeps the match going. Potts leads 9-5. And he still needs 1 for a place in the final. He'll be kicking himself there because he'll feel he really should have taken that out. Just took his eye off the pot on the red. He was concentrating on position on the 8 ball to the far corner and didn't pop the red.
Yeah, 9-5, but still alive.
You see here once again the misread by Gareth Potts. Just concentrating completely on the position on the black. The hand went up. And that was frame over from that position.
15th frame. Craig to break, trailing 9 frames 5,
The
9 frames to
supporters
5.
are
Time
shouting,
running.
come on, Craig. He's 9-5 down. He's got to win the last 5 to cause an upset. But one thing's for sure, he'll be going for it.
Cue ball jumped in the air there off the front of the pack.
Open table.
Just wonder if he's had a little bit of luck there. You see, and then the overhead shot. Well, actually got kicked away by the front ball. And as we see, it comes to rest. There's a red just potentially blocking it. It looks like Gareth can get through. I'll tell you what, the way Gareth's got down and cued that in, he looks like he means business here, Lee.
Yeah, well, he knows this is a key shot to the frame. One good cannon here onto the yellow. I don't think he's had it. He's got a little bit too close to that red. May still go into the corner, you can still clip it in. Ideally, would like the cue ball to be in a few more inches away from that red. The cue ball's going to be travelling.
Certainly not ideal there. Even that other red, and as you say, had a little control with the cue ball being so close to that red.
Yeah, ideally Gareth would like the 8 ball to pass into the bottom right hand corner. I'm not sure if it does.
Nice shot there from Gareth Potts. Negotiated a path through all those object balls in the balk area.
Yeah, he's just a little bit too far, really. You can see a little grimace. 2 rolls left. Less he would have been in prime position, but now he's just a little bit too high on it. Might be forced to play the one at the bottom of the table. Now he's got to negotiate around the yellow, and that's tricky. Could end up too close to the red ball. Well, he can actually hold it off one cushion. What a good shot that was.
Yeah, lovely shot there from Gareth Potts. Just needs to maintain that focus. 3 more shots.
Yes, you could see it in him, and you said, Sean, determined not to make the mistake this time. Concentrate on every shot, 100%. Well, Craig Waddingham has had a terrific run here from the qualifiers to the semi-finals of the World Championship. He's beaten 2 former champions, Carl Morris and Jason Twist. And he gave Gareth Potts here a bit of a scare early on. But the dream is over for the qualifier. It's the 3 times champion Gareth Potts who goes through to the final to take on Mick Hill, a winner by 10 frames to 5.
So in the end, Gareth Potts, the class was just too much, and the dream is over for this year, at least for young Craig Waddingham. But he's put up a terrific fight, and Gareth certainly knows he's been in a tough semi-final.
Yep, good display. He's going to feel a little bit gutted. I mean, let's be honest, he is going to feel a bit gutted tonight,
Yeah.
isn't he? But yeah, a good all-round tournament.
The worry, obviously, for people who wouldn't know him would be that he would get to this stage and freeze and be thrashed and humiliated. Thankfully, that hasn't happened. He's put up a good account for himself.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And even though he's lost, all the fans are going home happy tonight. They know he's put up a bit of a good show.
As for Gareth, we saw glimpses there of the real Gareth Potts, didn't we? He was playing pretty well at times. Wasn't perfect.
He wasn't playing that way all the way through the match.
Not consistent enough.
That's right, yes, and but he showed in patches what he can do and how quickly he can take a frame away from you, or a couple of frames away from you within a very short space of time.
Well, we can now hear from the man himself and feel what he thinks about getting through to the final. Here is Gareth.
Gareth, you're through to another World Final. How would you rate your performance today?
I think I was quite good. I started off well, and then frames 3 and 4 to go, 2 each. I was really disappointed with. I felt I should have been 4-0 up, but from then I capitalised and obviously got out the session 7-2, which I was really happy with.
You'd have been aware, obviously, he beat Carl Morris, he beat Jason Twist, he'd had a great run, dangerous opponent, went for everything, and you'd never played him before, so it was a tough match for you.
Yeah, it was a complete unknown to me, to be honest. I've not really seen much of him. Obviously, he's had some great results, so obviously I knew he was a good player. And with him coming off the back of some, those results, I knew I had to be bang at it from the start and keep him under pressure because he just keeps potting balls.
You had a chance there to win 10-4, didn't take it. You seemed to say to yourself, right, I'm not going to make the mistake in the next frame.
Yeah, I got a little bit lucky actually, so I probably didn't deserve to win that frame anyway. But I just took my eye off the last ball, But fortunately, I was able to win the next one.
A final word then from Keith. This is going to be some fun coming up, isn't it?
Well, yes, it's the final. It's the dream final. If we're being honest, you're probably talking about the 2 best players and most consistent players in the modern era.
Yeah, so this is, if we could have had our pick, this is the sort of final you would have chosen.
Yeah, for me this is the best 2 players, and they both look like they're playing quite well, which makes for an exciting prospect, really.
Absolutely. Let's just confirm everything that's happened then so far in this exciting men's tournament. This is what happened in the 2 semi-finals. Phil Harrison going out to Mick Hill. He's through to the final, and of course he'll now meet Gareth Potts, who's beaten Craig Waddingham 10-5. And confirmation there of that men's final. Gareth Potts seeded 2 against Mick Hill seeded 3. Former champions, of course, both of them, but it should be great stuff nevertheless. In the meantime, my thanks to Keith, and as far as your home are concerned, we thank you for your company. We'll see you next time. Meantime, from everyone here at Blackpool, it's goodbye for now.